Hello and welcome to my November update for my solar project. And this is the first, I would say, negative update. So let's dive in. So, just a quick reminder, this is a project where I'm trying to look at all of the costs, including what it would cost me to borrow the money as opposed to save the money. And where I look at for Illinois Shine, which is the program that I'm under with Ameren, Illinois. So let's first dive into the numbers. So last month, I produced almost 1,300 kilowatt hours from my main array. Clearly, we're in winter because this time only 877. So that is definitely trending in the wrong direction. And what isn't equivalent or isn't apparent in that is we also added solar panels. So this kind of gets me to a problem with my solar installer that I got to work through because we got a 10K, which is the max for Illinois Shine, and then we have 14K of panels. So you would think we would be doing better in winter. So we're going to have to dig into those numbers a little bit closer. For my off-grid, turned on-grid side, that would be the other inverter, and this would be my DIY. The production actually ticked up just a tad, and there's a lot more to come on that project. But basically, still the right direction because our total bill was only 100. But I know next month it's going to be bad because we're going to throw in all the gas for heat. So this is also the first bill with the action item I took last month, which is converting to real-time pricing. That was a little weird. I'm going to have to maybe spend some time researching. There's a few gotchas on that. First off, you pay a monthly fee to be on that program, which I'm sure was in the fine print. I just didn't realize it. And then they sent you this glowing email, which is a marketing email, which tells you you saved $25 and your bill should be X, but it's only going to be Y. And then I look at my bill and it doesn't match any of the marketing materials. If you dig in a little bit lower, you'll find that they don't take any of the EV incentives into account. They don't take any of your already off shift type of programs into account. So that's why it didn't match at all. The other thing they don't tell you is a big got you around distribution. So when you think about the two pieces you pay on your bill, the first one is the actual meter charges. So that's how much electricity you used. And now you'll see that mine does say it's RPT, which is real-time pricing. And they do some auto magical kind of stuff on the back end to come up with your bill. It has no breakdown of when you used your energy. And then the other one is distribution, which is the cost of them getting the energy to you, which we pay Ameren for, Ameren, Illinois. You pay distribution no matter what. So the arbitrage is really only on the one piece, which is the smaller of the pieces. So high level 80-20 rule, about 2/3 of your cost is in distribution and one cost is in your actual cost of electricity. I know I'm a little off on that, and it depends on your rate and a whole lot of other things. So was it cheaper? Yes. Was it 25% cheaper like they said? No. By the time you take out their fee for being on the program, and the EV tax credit, you're really looking at somewhere, way below, maybe in the 20% bracket for a savings. So still good now, but when it comes to summer, there's no way I should stay on this program because once the solar starts producing more, it's not going to justify the cost. Because if you think about it, the solar produces during the heavy feed time frame. So the solar is offsetting the big chunks, right? So let's dive in just a little bit lower and talk about some of my, I guess, problems this time. Once I went on real-time pricing, the cost of electricity did go down because of this real-time pricing. Now, I don't feel like it's fair for me to offset or to calculate the savings to use that lower rate, because I wouldn't have gone on real-time pricing unless I had the solar. So I'm introducing a new rule because of this dilemma. Because if I calculated it on the cost of my electricity, it'd only be like 10 cents, or sorry, 10 cents. I would have, the value offset for the solar would be so low. I would never recoup my value. So I decided to lock it at 14. 14 seemed fair. It's kind of what it was on average before the solar system. And I think that lays it out. So for example, instead of using 10 cents, I'm going to use 14 cents as my savings. And I hope that's okay, because otherwise this thing is never going to make any money whatsoever. Especially considering this month was extremely bad. The main system. So the main ground array by A&J Solar saved us about $123. But unfortunately, the interest on the current balance for that main system was $166 for the month. So that means I lost roughly $43, and there's still more bills to come on that. So if you think about the major changes to highlight for this particular month, definitely winter. So we expected the numbers to be less. We did also do the tilt array. So I had been laxed, or I had missed some of the tilting. The interesting thing about the tilting is now that I have it exactly set and I put a video, I'll try to link to the video on that. It turns out that the fact that these are bifacial and they hit on the top and the bottom, I'm starting to wonder if they produced more. And I don't know, I'll ask my solar installer, but I feel like now that they're tilted, they don't produce as much on the bottom side. And maybe that's just some sanctions on my spot. They still have not came back and fixed it from the two, like right now there's 4 MPPs on that one. And so we're tracking a top row and a bottom row. And because of the shading, it really needs to be a left side and a right side. So I'm going to email them again about that. So again, $43-ish loss. The Shine incentives, they said they did the paperwork. My follow-up to them still is, I have not set up any configuration that links my Illinois Shine account with my inverter. So unless they did that on the backside and I don't know about it, I'm still concerned it's not registered yet. And I've heard all kinds of ranging comments on when you ever get that incentive. So it'll be interesting to see. I should have a counter in these monthly updates where I tell you how many months it's been since the installation. So the garage or the studio apartment conversion of the off-grid to on-grid, that cost for that to date is roughly $3,000. We did get some more the rest of the remaining solar panels delivered. So that'll go up, of course, a couple thousand, but we are about even with that. We produced roughly $20 and we offset the interest of 18. So technically it's a rounding error in my opinion. So more to come on that, hopefully in the next few months. So other than that, I would say, my questions, like I mentioned before, like, do we change the tilt on the array to see if that makes any difference? It's so tough when there's so much cloud cover, so many variabilities in the weather, rain, snow. Right now it snowed and we produced nothing at all yesterday, almost like minuscule amount, because of the snow that was on the solar panels. So I guess that concludes my November update of my October actuals. So thanks for tuning in to my solar offset journey. Again, we've got 2 electrical vehicles and a whole 1.5 households, however you want to look at it. that we're trying to offset. So I think if you find any holes in my logic, if you disagree with my locking of the electrical rates to that 14 cents, I want to hear you in the comments because I really struggled with that. But again, I still stand firm with we wouldn't have these cheap rates had we not installed the solar panels. So again, thanks for tuning in. And like I said, if you're trying to do something similar, just let me know. And I'd love to talk about the system because it's been fun to work out about it.